One of Cameroon's brightest pediatricians, the late Professor Ondobo Anze, has been laid to rest in his village, Nkolondom. He was posthumously decorated Knight of the National Order of Valor. Good evening and welcome to the 7:30 News. I am Benen Buma, Ghana, coming to you live from Studio 5 of the Crtv Production Center in Balatu, Yaoundé.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
Once again, welcome. Let's start by going over to the Yaoundé Conference Center, where musical artists in Cameroon have been voting those to manage the Cameroon Musical Arts Corporation, SONACAM. The elective General Assembly is going on with 4 candidates: Ate Bazo, Waxday, Jean-Pierre Essome, and Messi Ambroise for the post of SONACAM board chair. Let's now join our reporter Emanuela Venu live from the election ground. Emanuela, if you're getting us, tell us what the situation is like at the moment. We'll definitely be coming back to get what is happening at the Yaoundé Conference Center with Emanuela Vermeulen. Cameroonian musicians have been working hard to ensure that they get a reward for their creative work from expected copyright. However, it has been very difficult for them to get so much since the copyright body is always laden with a lot of problems. In the following write-up, Constantine Baum says implementing the October 2020 new status that has been voted will definitely bring better days for Cameroonian musical artists. His report.
The most painful era lived by artists in Cameroon is between December 23, 2013 to September 9, 2017. That was marked by quarrels, division, insult, court cases, spatial and arbitrary distribution of their rights. The Cameroon Musical Arts Corporation was created on September 9, 2017 with a mission to assemble all musical artists on noble ideas of mutual respect, permanent creation and tolerance. These values were highly respected with no proper management of the rights of artists. Leaders were found guilty of grave management faults. The way forward for a strong SONACAM is for artists to respect the new text voted during the Inclusive Ordinary General Assembly on October 24, 2020. That assembly also adopted the general regulations and the electoral code that guides election in the association. If artists go by what they adopted, that will help find efficient and definite solutions that will allow SONACAM with regulatory text developed. The applied laws will definitely make the association stronger than some of the individual artists who see themselves bigger than the association. There must be a control of the activities of the board of directors and general management, as there has been serious errors in management accounts of the body. Money for royalties has disappeared without traces and no accounts rendered. In addition, an ethics, discipline, and arbitration committee should get to work among other internal bodies created by the text of SONACAM.
I started by telling you that all eyes are turned to the Yaoundé Conference Center, where musical artists in Cameroon have been voting those to manage the Cameroon Musical Art Corporation. And then I said, Ate Bazo, Waxday, Jean-Pierre Essome, and Messi Ambroise are the candidates vying for the post of SONACAM board chair. Let's now join our reporter Emanuela Venu live from the election ground. Emanuela, what is the situation like over there?
The white smoke is still highly awaited here at the Yaoundé Conference Center, where close to 1,000 artists from the 10 regions of the country have been voting since this afternoon to elect leaders to manage the Cameroon Music Arts Corporation, SONACAM. It is expected, it is a highly expected elections, given that it comes during a period when authors' right management in Cameroon is plagued by serious problems. Who then of Waxday, Ate Bazo, Jean-Pierre Essome, and Messi Ambroise would take home the position of board chair of Sonacam. The results shall be known in a while, given that at the moment it is the vote counting process which has begun, and the ELECAM officials are here to ensure the transparency of the election. Earlier today, the Minister of Arts and Culture, Bidun Kwat, invited the artists and called on all of them to express a sense of responsibility and vote that one person that will help build their corporation from the quagmire that is characteristic of it. Since 2017, this is the new elected General Assembly that shall be voting, therefore, the board chair as well as members of the 4 commissions of Sonacam for a mandate of 5 years. We will be here to give you updates as the results unfold, given that the winner shall be declared tonight and the winner eventually installed by the Minister of Arts and Culture. I am your eyes and ears here at the Yaoundé Conference Center.
As a matter of fact, Emanuela Vemnu, courage as you wait for the results. Let's talk something else now. After the pronouncement of results of the regional council elections, the next step in the process is to get regional councils to start functioning, as the election of the president of the regional council and the regional executive bureau is awaited. The regional council president, who will be elected by members of the regional council and his team, will last for as long as the term of members of the regional council lasts. Beatrice Losamba elucidates.
Chapter 2 of the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities spells out modalities for the election of regional authorities. Section 306 of the Code states that the election of the Regional Council's President and Bureau happens during the maiden session of the Regional Council. They will be voted from among the members of the Council, to start with the President. The President of the Council shall be a native personality of the region, elected by secret ballot from among members of the Council for the duration of the Council's term. It takes absolute majority to win, and if after 2 ballots no candidate has obtained an absolute majority, a 3rd ballot can be held according to subsection 5, and the election shall be won this time around by a relative majority. In the event of a tie, the oldest candidate shall be declared winner. But the 2nd ballot is only valid when 2/3 of the members are present. If not, the elections will be rescheduled for 8 days later. Once the president of the council is elected, he immediately chairs the election session of the senior vice president under the same conditions as the president. The vice president, 2 quaestors and 2 secretaries shall be elected on a list basis by a single round majority vote.
The executives of regional councils of the 8 French-speaking regions and regional assemblies of the 2 English-speaking regions will be elected during the first ordinary council sessions as of right, which will hold on the 22nd of December 2020. For the 2 English-speaking regions, the new dispensation will see the coming of a president of the Regional Executive Council. Ebenezer Akanga reports on the attributes of the president of the Regional Executive Council and those of the regional governor. His report.
In the Northwest and Southwest regions, which have a special status, there is a region as an administrative unit headed by the governor and a region as a local authority headed by the president of the Regional Executive Council. Their attributions are well defined in the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities. Section 359 sub 1 of the code states that the president of the Regional Executive Council shall be the chief executive of the region. As such, he shall be the interlocutor of the representative of the state, represent the region in all civilian matters and before the law courts, chair the sessions of the Regional Assembly, prepare and implement the deliberations of the Regional Assembly, authorize the revenue and expenditure of the region, manage the property of the region. The governor, on his part, is the head of the region as an administrative unit. He is the representative of the state and plays an advisory role to the region as a local authority. As the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development puts it, if everyone stays and works in his own corridor, there will be no conflict between the two.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer Akanga, for that report. The third ordinary session of the 2020 legislative year has ended at the National Assembly, with the lawmakers describing the 30 days of legislation as enriching and educative. A total of 7 bills were adopted, including the 2021 Finance Bill, while parliamentary networks legislated on land reforms, health, insurance and local investments. Esther Kmer sampled the appraisal of some of the MPs at the just-ended session. Here is her report.
A feeling of fulfillment it was for the legislators on their first mandate.
It was a wonderful session, quite enriching. We discussed several laws, for instance, discrimination against women.
There are many things I was so ignorant about. They have been informed, and that which really impressed me was the network concerning malnutrition.
I went through a big school and I've learned a lot, what the assembly means and what it looked like.
Those who made in-depth scrutiny of the state budget showed accomplishments.
We are hopeful that the ministers are going to do their work. They propose a lot of things for the development of this country.
What was supposed to do has been done. The financial law was voted, even if we in opposition was again.
The budget has improved. We discussed so many things that will help to alleviate poverty at the grassroots.
Government's non-respect for deadlines to table the finance bill still worries.
We could have received the finance law 15 days before the session. It would have given MPs more time to scrutinize it. Unfortunately, it was brought at the last minute once again.
Another grist for the gossip mill is decentralization.
15% of our budget should be given to the territorial collectivities. But when you look at this budget, we don't have 15%.
The legislators take the knowledge acquired during the sittings to their communities as they begin recess.
Top administrative officials and military personnel in the far north region have been coming up with strategies to maintain peace and quiet in the region ahead of the end-of-year festivities. The meeting was presided over by Governor Mijiyawa Bakari, who insisted that though the Boko Haram sect has been weakened in the region, there is still great need for vigilance. Henry Tato Ekambi reports from Marua.
Boko Haram is now said to be limping in the far north region, but continues to change strategies. The end-of-year festivities usually come with armed banditry and the regional elections just rounded off. All these issues and more were tabled at the security meeting combined with a feedback meeting.
Instruction that have been given by the hierarchy. Election has been closed without any difficulty, and now we have targeting for the end of year fest, and we have to join our force to see how to fight against those Boko Haram and other bandits.
The governor of the far north region, alongside the top military and administrative officials from the 6 divisions of the region, all assured that measures will be taken to ensure a hitch-free end-of-year festivities.
Let's go back to Douala to record all the lessons learned when CRTV's Director General Sean Dongo granted a conference talk at the University Institute of the Gulf of Guinea. He addressed pertinent issues that augur hope for the youth and spurred them to turn their backs from those that discourage and destroy and focus on backing bold actions to be on the right side of history. Alphonse Bongwa Achu captured key moments of the conference and now presents some of the lessons learned.
Mr. Sean Dongo mounts the amphitheater pulpit to share his knowledge and experiences with students of the University Institute of the Gulf of Guinea on a topic which to him is critical to Africa's socio-economic and political development, artificial intelligence. This revolves around the use of the internet and other digital tools to achieve specific goals. First, the ace journalist and manager presents vividly the desolate and unfortunate image which the world gives of Africa, principally the wars, crisis, poverty, corruption, underdevelopment, amongst others. Then, succinctly, he presents the reality on the abundance of material and human resources which the continent possesses. To him, information and communication technologies should be veritable tools in the hands of the young Africans to make use of and portray the rich potentials which the continent boasts of. Mr. Shandongo calls on these youths to be hardworking, shun the deviant use of social media, and become exemplary for their country and the continent at large. In this way, they would be changing the paradigm from Afro-pessimism to Afro-optimism. The august guest of Mr. Louis-Marie Jambu, proprietor of the Private Institute of Higher Learning, was earlier given a guided visit of the different campuses and student journalists of La Voix du Golfe, the school's teaching radio station, were granted an interview by the high-profile guest. A partnership between the school and the CRTV has been announced.
Journalists and other communication experts have brainstormed on how to manage the spread of citizen journalism, particularly challenges faced by journalists in treating economic information in time of crisis. This was during the second edition of the Press Citizen Days, organized in Yaoundé by the Media Association for Mediation and Citizenship. Ewane Epole tells us more.
Discussions during the three-day conference took place within the context of the second edition of the Press Citizen Days, focusing on the theme Challenges Faced by Journalists in Treating Economic Information in Time of Crisis.
We have a lot of enterprises or institutions which are trying to make their know-how known by people. And then the question is, how far can these institutions, army, or the other group pressure, etc., how far can this institution go? And what is the real influence they can have upon journalists, the real value of this economic information if the journalists cannot go to the field? We intend to give to those students tools that can help them to know how to conduct their relationship with a lot of sources.
The communication family also emphasized the need for the journalism ethics to be upheld, especially stating facts in the practice of citizen journalism. The Cameroon Press Citizen Days is brainchild of the Media Association for Mediation and Citizenship.
Let's go over to the south and precisely to Crtv, where the mayor has been installed. The challenges facing the mayor and his new team are enormous. He has to work very, very hard to ensure that the diverse population coming into Crtv get their place and the spirit of togetherness is witnessed. Let's get over to Crtv. Shortly, we meet Cyril Noazeke.
Mayor Elias Bilong, the president of the South Regional Bureau of the United Councils and Cities in Cameroon, the UCCC, and his colleagues will for the next 5 years be in charge of upgrading the living conditions of the people of their municipalities, a role which is one of the objectives of the UCCC.
The main development actors are the mayors, and so if the CVC offices at the division and at the regional level are effective, we are going to have effective results, and the population is going to be the beneficiary of the heads of states wish for this decentralization process.
The governor of the South Region, Felix Ngilengile, has commissioned the newly installed bureau members to collaborate with one another in view of fostering local development.
I would recommend that they should work in close collaboration so that they will achieve the objectives for the betterment of the population.
The mayors in charge of the UCCC in the south are also expected to assist the government in speeding up decentralization in the region.
That was rather Benny Satabong, there in the place of Cyril Noazeke. Over in the north, the population of Dumu will soon benefit from energy supply within government's program of providing electricity to 466 villages in Cameroon. Honorable Amadou Mohamedou broke the good news Friday in the Lamido's courtyard, accompanied by a group of experts who came to carry out a survey of the villages. Vanessa Woodnang Snamung reports.
Dumo is a village situated in Mayoluti division of the North region that shares boundaries with Nigeria. The news of the energy supply project was gladly received by the population, who all agreed on the economic breakthrough which this project will bring to their area.
This project is very wonderful for my people, and we are very happy to have this energy in Dumo.
Electrifying Dumo will enable the youths to be engaged in different activities, thereby reducing unemployment and contributing to the improvement of the living conditions of the people, amongst others, as affirmed by Amadou Muhammadu, the Member of Parliament and an elite of Dumo. The Honorable equally came along with experts who carried out a survey of the area to better understand the energy needs of the people.
Of course, let's get to talk about our fight against the coronavirus pandemic in the second canto of this newscast. We go over to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center to meet our man on the beat, Baldwin Sama. Today, he's finding out more about the border health surveillance in the Adamawa region. Baldwin is talking to Adamawa Regional Delegate of Public Health, Alhaji Zakari. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Benin Bumagana. We take you to the Adamawa region of Cameroon this weekend to get to know more about trans-border health surveillance, how it's carried out in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. And our guest tonight is the Adamawa Regional Delegate of Public Health, Dr. Yao Alhaji Zakari, who is with us here in Yaoundé. Mr. Regional Delegate, good evening.
Good evening.
Explain to us, Mr. Regional Delegate, how is trans-border health surveillance being carried out in the Adamawa region of Cameroon?
Yes, in Adamawa region in Cameroon, we, under the national directive and the prescription of Minister of Public Health, we took necessary measure to ensure to upgrade the SOP of our all health center at the border. Indeed, we upgrade our surveillance by controlling all the COVID-19 tests coming, the passenger coming in Cameroon, so that with a delay of 72 hours for the PCR and 48 hours for the RDT, we control it. If the test is up to the delay, we resume the passenger on the new text, COVID-19 test. So we have two cases now. If the case is positive, we have to treat him and put him under confinement on the nearest health center. But if the case is positive, we allow him to continue his journey.
And finally, Mr. Regional Delegate, we've noticed that there were some differences in terms of the different screenings carried out at the different border posts for Cameroon. For example, we have the PCR screening. What are some of the challenges you face with these differences noticed as far as the screening at the border post is concerned?
Exactly. These differences between the countries giving us some problem, because passengers will not understand really the exact strategy of each country. So what is happening, there's a conflict between them and our health workers at the border. So we try to sensibilize them, to explain them. Each country has its own policy, and they have to respect the policy according to the international regulation, sanitary regulation. So if you are coming to Cameroon, you have to abide to the rule and regulation of health in the Republic of Cameroon. So we have to continue sensibilizing on both sides of the border to our population who are moving in each side. So it's not easy, but we are trying to our best to make sure that they understand our policy and they have to abide of our regulation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Regional Delegate, for being available with us live this Sunday from Yaoundé. That's the situation in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. Back to you, Benin Bumagana.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama van Kamer. Please continue taking good care of yourself. Professor Ondobo Anzie Jever, a renowned pediatric surgeon who died in France last November 2, 2020, has been laid to rest in his native Colondom on the outskirts of Yaoundé. The burial took place in the presence of some members of government and medical practitioners. Jever Ondobo Anzie was posthumously decorated Knight of the National Order of Valor by the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Famdongo. Beatrice Ngum tells us more.
Sounds of the Nsilawu dance, a ritual dance performed in honor of the dead in the central region of Cameroon. Lyrics of the dance are resonating loud here in Colondon in honor of Gervais Ondobo Anze, a pediatric surgeon and university professor who died in France on November 2 due to poor health. Some members of government, friends and family converge on Colondon to accompany him to his final resting place. In the different eulogies, Gervais is described as a man who loved humanity.
Rest in peace, our hero.
During the Requiem Mass to pay him last tribute, the chief celebrant, His Grace Jean Barga, and the clergy as a whole implored the eternal mercy of God on Gervais Ondobo Anze and told family members not to rely on earthly pleasures, for goodness and comfort comes from God alone. Gervais Ondobo Anze is posthumously decorated Knight of the National Order of Valor by the representative of the head of state, Professor Jacques Famundongo, for his services rendered to fatherland. He returns to the land of his ancestors at 61, leaving behind his professional family and nuclear one in a state of grief, yet hopeful, as the clergy assures them Gervais is only gone to join the choir invisible.
And may his soul rest in perfect peace. Ngondo officials say the youths hold an undisputed position in the traditional institution and will have to ensure continuity. That is why this year's theme calls for the exaltation of the youths. Dixon Ashu had a talk with the Secretary General of Ngondo, Pamphile Yobe, and in the following report throws more light on the reason why the youths had to take the spotlight on this year's Ngondo Festival.
The structure sits on a surface area of 5,000 square meters, sharing space with the Beseke grandstand. It holds a capacity of 2,000 persons, and the design was selected on purpose.
It has the form of canoe that's long like this, and even the pillars, they have form of paddle. So I think it's very significant of our people, Sawa people.
The site is symbolic and recalls traditional heritage.
Formerly is here that Ngondo used to have its meeting. On this side we have Aqua Canton and the other in Jonjo.
The three-floor edifice is divided into 3 sections, that is, each to host different services.
At my left, there'll be services, administration part. At my right, I can say cultural space, museum, and in the middle we can organize ceremonies there.
Class and comfort defines the new Ngondo head office, now at almost 80% completed. A multi-billion project launched in 2016 with the foundation stone placed by the head of state. Its official opening is planned for early 2021.
The government of Cameroon has tasked promoters of digitalization in Africa to ensure a second online space which promotes peace and development. The statement from the Presidency of the Republic was read out at the 9th board meeting of the Smart Africa Institute by the Minister Delegate and the Ministry of External Relations in charge of cooperation with the Commonwealth, Felix Mbayu. Charles Ebune report.
30 countries, 760 million people. That is the Smart Africa family, which Cameroon became a member 3 years ago.
Permit me to salute the efforts of Smart Africa, its commitment to the digital transformation of the African continent in general and of its economy in particular.
The Smart Africa Network is one of the online ecosystems poised to make the digital space a secured one for a multiplier investment in Africa.
By reaffirming Cameroon's commitment towards the effective implementation of Smart Africa's initiatives for a prosperous and connected Africa.
At this year's summit, moderated virtually by Rwandan President Paul Kagame, President Paul Biya tasked leaders to engage for online businesses which promote peace and unity.
If we want to achieve these noble goals of our common strategy, then the time to act is now. Because, as His Excellency Paul Biya underlines, I quote, "The digital society that is knocking at our doors will not wait for latecomers," end of quote.
Amongst instruments worked by Cameroon for the development of a people-friendly digital world is the Agency for Information and Telecommunications Technology.
The socioeconomic advantages of the Yaoundé-Kribi stretch of road passing through Ngomedab in the Nyong and So Division Center region cannot be overemphasized. The initiative has greatly helped in boosting trade and opening up the area to other projects that are beneficial to the population. Details with Brenda Miche from Crtv Center.
Many inhabitants of Ngomenzap have been jubilating over the construction of the roads linking Yaoundé and Kribi through Olama, which has now made things easy as against the past when the transportation of goods and services was a nightmare.
Here yesterday to travel to Yaoundé around 1 p.m. and by 6 p.m. I was back. This was not the case at first because things has really changed and now it's very easy, not difficult again.
This is today an issue of the past as farmers and business persons come in and out without any challenge.
At first, transporters refused to enter here in Ngomezap with their vehicles, but today the issue is different as they are the ones running after us due to the good road.
Close to 70% of the stretch of roads linking Olama-Kribi has already been tarred. Like the common adage that says, whenever a road passes, development follows. It is now obvious that the people of Ngomenzap are headed for a real boom.
And it is also obvious that we talk sports. The team that is going to represent Cameroon at the CHAN beat RS Fortuna today 2-0 in the Festive Solidarity taking place at Bankomo. The team now tops Group A with 6 points. And away from football, Zimbabwean visitor Mapwanga has won the second edition of the Open Golf Charity Competition organized by Elesa Lottensen Foundation. He beat Senegal's Sambanyang in an all-foreign final played today at the Yaoundé Golf Course. Daniel Ekonde reports.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's the watchword Zimbabwean visitor Mapwanya held on his third trip to Cameroon to win the Open Golf Charity Tournament.
I came here early and I got used to the weather, the condition of the course, and I gave myself a big chance to prepare myself for this victory.
His Senegalese opponent had trailed him throughout the 4-day event, but failed to level up on the final day.
I made more mistakes than my adversary, so that really cost me a lot, and I had to chase him the whole time.
An all-foreign finale is the result the Elisa Lottensen Foundation got in organizing the second edition of the tournament at the Yaoundé Golf Club.
Tournament is an international tournament now. The finalists represent 2 countries in Africa. And this is a big now good players in Africa.
The winner goes home with Fcfa 6 million, a double increase of last year's prize money.
Thank you very much for watching the 7:30 news. At 8:30, watch Atabadin Omar with news. God bless you. Keep watching the CRTV. Good night.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing